On State Road 19, just before a roundabout, and inside of an S-curve or just before it, driving northbound, Zachery Potts was driving Emma Thomson and Jackie Walorski as passengers in an SUV when he drifted into oncoming traffic and collided head-on with a southbound car, and they had ended up hitting 56-year-old Edith Schmucker at about 12:30 p.m. 2022, August 3rd, and then the coordinates. Now, I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to bring up why people thought it was the other way around and the other person hit them instead. Please understand that a head-on collision after or near a roundabout, especially if there's any kind of S-curve or any pattern like that, is pretty damn common. And this one has a history of having some accidents, so this isn't unusual. This would have been the view just before entering the area, and this is the area where all the vehicle's pieces came to rest approximately. There or possibly here. Now, a car coming from this direction would have had little or no reason to deviate into the oncoming lane. At least you would presume that, and so would I. It might have been in anticipation of seeing this intersection and maybe getting confused for a brief second. Now we're going to jump over here and see from the other point of view of the other car, not the one driven by the individual who apparently drifted out of position. The most likely cause for an intersection like this having an accident is coming from this perspective and then overcompensating, trying to line up this way, called target fixation. The other thing that can cause it is because of the way it's shaped way behind us. When we go backwards, if this will not crash, which it will try to, you'll notice a very janky kind of curving thing here going on. You get this perspective. So the other car that was driven by the lady towards them might have also had a very obvious cause for screwing up how she was driving. Target fixation trying to go through this makes you maybe bump into this rail here and drift into the left lane as well. Let me see if I can get in here without it deviating too much. So the perspective of them coming through here, and the only reason this is in the news is that one of them was a politician, and people have decided to add this to the meme of liberals murder people kind of thing. Approaching this type of intersection is going to be confusing to many people if they haven't got enough sleep, if they're inexperienced with roundabouts, or just roads that do this kind of wiggle-waggle beforehand. I don't like roundabouts that have these kind of curves to them because they cause these kind of accidents. And you can see where this might cause a person to drift into the left lane because they don't get that they're supposed to be in this right lane. This happened in broad daylight, though. So people have decided, especially after police made the assumption that somebody from this lane had drifted over, which was more common in the area because it keeps happening, they initially reported that the car coming at us from this perspective caused the accident. Either way, it was a head-on collision between two cars, and everybody in both cars died. Some of the memes people brought up is this was arranged by the Clinton family. It's a Clinton body count thing. Or it was done by the Bidens or whatever. None of this has any basis in reality, as is per usual, and none of it needs to be repeated on the internet. And I'm doing a video debunking that. And of course, YouTube, if they feel like it, will misinterpret what I'm saying here and say I'm saying the opposite of what I just said. But anyway, that's it for the political, ideological, and conspiracy theory BS. Now let's get to the point. This is a roundabout I call, I call these murder bouts because you're basically going to get killed by someone accidentally hitting you. This kind of curve is unnecessary. It really is. They could have just not done that. The approach to every roundabout needs to be as clean and straight as possible. I understand they had to do this for some reason, but for crying out loud, please don't do this if you design a road. Next, almost every roundabout I look at that doesn't have a lot of crashes in it are straight-ons with a curve that either goes straight this way, so it forces you not to be able to go the wrong direction, because you're supposed to keep going in the same direction. See the lines? So this one makes it go that way and then curves the wrong way. So part of this video should be treated as a rant about roundabouts and really horrible design. The aesthetics of a roundabout are not relevant. the engineering of them, and the safety should be the only thing they're done for. Otherwise, they should just be standard intersections. Americans are used to standard intersections. We have plenty of crashes in them. And roundabouts are supposed to be, quote, universally safer. Except that the crashes in them are almost always a very strange type. Head-on collisions, after you exit a roundabout, are the most common type, depending on where you're looking. There's dozens of studies on this. I still approve of them. I think they need to be put in place. But this kind of snake turn is not what you want. You do not want a snake turn. Anyway, I was able to look at video and photos of the accident and figure out that it happened almost exactly right here, but I can't confirm it completely because every single reporter uses a long, telephoto lens, and no one ever just goes out and marks the spot and takes a picture and takes a GPS. So the information in this video should be considered at least accurate, if not precise. And again, if you're designing a roundabout, don't put one of these S-curves in. You're just asking to cause more accidents and get people killed. So again, 4 people died in maybe even in a split second, or at least thereafter, and it was unnecessary, and it was an accident. And you will find on a Wikipedia page about it, if you look on the talk page, people complaining, you shouldn't assume it's an accident, when that's literally the standard for all motor vehicle accidents or assumed accidents. You don't assume it's murder, you don't assume it's malicious, you assume it's an accident, unless otherwise noted. That's how reality works. Apparently some people don't like that. So their commentary on Wikipedia and on the internet in general is always based on the same problem. They're not reasonable or rational, and they don't deserve to be treated as anything other than irrational and unreasonable. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.